Hey guys, Fox with Fox Games, and this is the second part of our multi-part series titled Becoming a PC Gamer. This series is designed to help non-PC gamers get into PC gaming and feel more comfortable with it. We've also got a special eye towards console gamers, as we'll be comparing PC gaming and console gaming at various points. Please remember that we're not really talking about the downsides to PC gaming because that's not what this series is about, although I'm sure some of you will mention it in the comments section below. Before we get started with part 2 about how you get games on your PC, let's knock out a myth that seems to linger on in videos like this in the comments section. And that myth is the idea that PC gaming is dying, dead, or extremely small subset of the gaming market. That's simply not true. As you can see from these articles that I'm pulling up now, PC gaming has been steadily increasing and growing in every market that is being tracked. That's right, guys. It hasn't declined in any of them, unlike console gaming, which has been declining or slightly growing or staying pretty stagnant in some markets. PC gaming has been exploding in every market that they're tracking, especially in China. And considering how many people are in China, that's a huge market to be growing in. Please also note that when it comes to comparing PC gaming to console gaming, it's actually not fair to compare the PC to all the consoles combined because those are multiple platforms versus one platform. If you compare PC gaming to just one of the consoles, it looks a lot more even-handed. For example, Electronic Arts game sales in Q1 of 2012 showed that PC game sales actually outsold the PS3. Think about that, guys. It outsold one of the major consoles, and it was very close in sales to the Xbox 360. What this means is that PC game sales are right there with the other two big-name consoles. They're about even. PC gaming has come a long way, just like console gaming has. If you dropped off a PS3 or an Xbox 360 in the living room of a 1970s console user, I don't think they'd know what to do with it. Aside from the fact that technologies didn't exist back then that do today, like the internet, DVDs, and Blu-ray, I think they'd still be caught completely off guard. It just doesn't look anything like the old Atari 2600 or ColecoVision. And it's the same with PC gaming. Now, I'm jumping the gun a bit here, and as I said, we'll get to the hardware more later, but let's talk about how you actually get games onto your PC. Assuming you have a nice little gaming PC all set up and ready to go, what do you do then? Well, you have one of 3 different main operating systems to choose from, either Windows, Mac, or Linux. Now, while Linux may be free, I really do recommend that you go with Windows because most of the big name games come out on Windows, and if you pick either Mac or Linux, you're really limiting yourself quite a bit in terms of your selection. Now, you can choose either Windows 7 or Windows 8. Either is great for gaming. I personally recommend Windows 8. I find it the most stable and optimized version of Windows yet. They've shown that Windows 8 uses fewer system resources, and I found it to operate much more smoothly and efficiently. Okay, assuming you have a nice gaming PC with Windows running on it, what do you do now? Well, I suggest you start with the most popular way of getting games nowadays on the PC, Steam. Steam is a digital content distribution platform. Steam has mainly games and game-related content such as DLC, guidebooks, soundtracks, and so on. Steam also has other software if you're interested in that. Remember, as far as your computer is concerned, a game is really just another piece of software like Microsoft Word or the Google Chrome browser. Steam has some of the best game deals on the planet, guys. You can pick up amazing titles for a fraction of what console players are paying. Steam is a unique service in that you are required to run a stay resident program. All that means is that you launch the Steam user client, which stays active and runs in the background. You call the program window up when you want to browse the store, download a game, or launch a game. There are community functions too, such as posting on the forums, friends lists, and voice and text chat. Steam users often form game-related groups and share tips and tricks with each other. You can think of Steam kind of like a PSN or Xbox Live, except with many more additional features. Steam is absolutely free to download, install, and run. All you pay for are the games that you choose to buy. You can chat with friends through Steam without paying anything at all, unlike Xbox Live and the upcoming PSN for PlayStation 4. There are other digital distribution platforms, some of which don't require a stay resident program that runs on your computer. One such platform is GOG.com, which stands for Good Old Games. They focus mainly on older games, given their namesake, and they can be purchased, downloaded, and installed with absolutely no DRM, which is digital rights management. No serial codes to input, no client to launch, no online verification, etc. They have great deals as well, and games that don't run natively on Windows come with customized versions of DOSBox, which is basically a DOS emulator that runs on your Windows machine. Another platform which is newer is Origin, EA's version of Steam. Yes, I know, we all hate EA, but Origin is looking like it could be something good, but to be honest, I've never purchased anything on it. I have the client and regularly look through it, but I don't really see any good deals, and the prices tend to linger in the fairly high range. There's one more platform I want to mention, and that's Desura. Desura, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, is unique in that it's entirely focused on featuring indie games. Games that get rejected by platforms like Steam can have a place on Desura, and they feature payment through PayPal, so you know your payments are secure. Remember, when you use PayPal, the recipient party never sees your credit card or bank information. Okay, so we've covered the clients. Are there other ways to get games on PC? Of course, the most common method in the past has been physical media, and this is what console gamers are most familiar with. It's the old system of buying a game box in the store, you take it home, and you put the disc in the drive. There's one catch here though. Unlike the consoles, you can't just pop the disc in and start playing. You have to install games. Now, some games even require this on consoles, but pretty much all games require it on the PC. Install games used to require that the disc be in the drive as a sort of anti-piracy technique, but that's an outdated practice and hardly seen anymore. I picked up a copy of Diablo 3 in stores, and the procedure is simple. I went home, popped in the disc, ran the installation program that automatically pops up, and then launched the game to play. It's not really that hard. If you ever put a disc in and nothing happens, just open up a file browser, navigate to the DVD or Blu-ray drive, and look for a file labeled something like autorun, setup.exe, or install.exe. Generally, any file that ends in .exe will launch the installation program. It sounds more complicated than it is. There's another method to installing games, and this is how you'll probably install most of the software programs that you obtain for your PC. You can find the game somewhere on the internet, download it, and then launch the file you downloaded. It's as easy as double-clicking it and following the prompts that pop up. Where you find these games just depends. Many of them are freeware, which means you're free to download and use them as much as you want. Others may be demos, which means you get a limited version that can only be unlocked to the full version by purchasing the game. These games are generally lesser-known titles that haven't had a chance to make their way onto popular platforms like Steam. Also, some older titles have been made intentionally freely available, even though you used to pay for them in the past. One such title is The Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. Bethesda released the game for free, just keep in mind that it requires an emulator like DOSBox to run. Alright, so now you guys know how to get games onto your beautiful new gaming PC. How do you launch them? Well, that depends on where you got them. Most games will drop a shortcut on the desktop or on your start menu, or both. You can double click that and away you go. I made a folder on my desktop for all the game shortcuts, that way I don't clutter up my desktop and block my beautiful wallpaper. Remember, you launch these games just like anything else, such as Microsoft Word. If you bought it on Steam or Origin, you'll find a window pane in those programs that has a list of all the games you purchased. You can launch them from there. Some of these games will require a one-time setup, and if so, a little box will pop up and let you know it's working. PCs have a lot of online games, and these games typically receive a lot of updates, sometimes daily, so if your game needs to update, just let it do its thing. It'll launch afterwards. Steam has an awesome in-game overlay that is accessed by a default key, and hitting this allows you to bring up a chat window, a friends list, or even a web browser while you're still playing a full-screen game. This is super useful if you need to look up something like a quick walkthrough, a map, or online advice on how to take down a tough boss. Now, don't worry if anything seems confusing. It won't take long before you start feeling like a PC gaming pro. Seriously, it's not hard at all, and doing it is much easier than it sounds when I explain it. Now, I will recommend that you keep your PC up to date, including all of your Windows updates and hardware drivers. Windows updates are Microsoft recommended official updates to the operating system. You don't need to worry about them, just go into your control panel, Windows Update, and click Automatic Updates. This will make Windows automatically update your system, so every now and then when you go to shut it off, you'll see it updating. Let it work, it knows what it's doing. But what are these things called drivers? No, it has nothing to do with cars and the people at the wheel. Drivers are the low-level data packs that tell Windows how to communicate with different pieces of hardware that's installed on your computer. Imagine that each piece of hardware speaks a different language and the drivers are the translators. The more accurate and efficient your translator is, the better the communication will be. Newer drivers are generally better, although in rare cases people do experience these little problems that can crop up. So how do you update drivers? Well, Windows Update actually takes care of most of the driver updates for you. Your graphics card is one of the most important pieces of hardware to keep up to date for gaming because it can improve game performance by as much as 20% or more. Both ATI and NVIDIA graphics cards have stay-resident programs that are always active in the background. They can check daily for updates, inform you of these updates, and then automatically download and install them. This is what it looks like for my system. Alright guys, other than building the computer, you have already learned about the most complicated aspects of PC gaming. Other than occasional troubleshooting, which the consoles aren't immune to, that's about as complicated as things get. Not as hard as you've been told, is it? And you know what's really cool? There are video tutorials on YouTube on how to do just about anything and everything. Confused about how to download graphics drivers? Do a search on YouTube for updating graphics drivers, and boom, easy to follow tutorials abound. You don't need special tools, and you're not going to break anything. As always guys, if you have questions, leave them in the comments section below. If you send me a private message, I'm the only one who can see it, and so it doesn't benefit the community. And also, when you leave a comment, anyone can answer you, and thus we can get the real advantage of the internet, the community, which is also the main disadvantage of the internet. Never before has so much information been so freely available, and the help you get from others used to cost a lot of money back in the day when you had to call up tech support. So take advantage of your fellow YouTubers who are willing to help. Remember guys, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time in part 3.